Hey everyone, Sam Battersby from Griot's Garage, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble our ultimate detailing cart. So to start, we've got everything unboxed and laid out here in front of me. I have all of my parts and components here, as well as the two tools I'm going to need to do this assembly: a soft face mallet, a good rubber mallet, or a mallet with soft faced ends, as well as a Phillips head screwdriver. It's the only two tools I'll need. It's a pretty simple process, but the video should help clarify anything that's confusing you guys. Make sure you have your handy instruction sheet. It's all pictures, so it's very easy to follow and understand. Has all of the parts and components you should have here. The first step, we're gonna remove the top tray and set that to the side. Get our top shelf. Your top shelf is identified because it's the shortest shelf. The bottom two shelves are more of a tub design. The top only has these short edges on it. So got our top shelf there. Grab our tools, keep those handy. And we need our hardware bag and our handles. Get the handles both on there. In the hardware bag, you'll find your wrench for the casters, 4 long screws for the handles, 4 washers for the handles, and then you also have these 4 clear tubes that are inserts for the handles as well. Those will help guide the long screws in that sink through the top shelf into the handle there. I'll set that aside. We're going to start by taking these clear inserts and sliding them onto the posts on the bottom side of the handle. So there's 2 on each handle, total of 4. Slide those on. You want them nice and snug and bottomed out on those posts like so. One on that side, and then finish the other 2 here. It should slide on pretty easy, but they do take a bit of force to get them completely bottomed out. You want to make sure those are on all the way, otherwise it will prevent the handle from fitting correctly. So got those on, and then I'm going to keep my 4 long screws and my 4 flat washers. There's flat washers and locking washers. The locking washers are for the casters, so set those to the side. Keep those with the casters. And we want our 4 flat washers and our 4 long Phillips head screws. Take each handle, slide it onto the handle posts, and make sure those are fully seated onto that top shelf. You want the U of the handle facing outboard, as you can see we've done here. So make sure those are totally seated. That's how it should look. Now we're gonna flip this upside down. We have a nice clean painted floor here. If you're doing this in your garage or out on your patio or something like that and the surface is rough, make sure that you do put some cardboard or something down to prevent the cart from getting marred up while you assemble it, or do it inside on the carpeted floor. That's a good way to go as well. Take our 4 screws and our 4 washers. Now I'm gonna thread the screw through the washer. And we're going to drop this down into the hole there. Take your Phillips head. This is a ratcheting USAG combo drive. Makes this nice and easy. It's going to be tempting to use a drill here. Do not recommend that because you can strip these out pretty easily if you are using a drill or an impact. So I do advise against that. If you do decide to take the risk and do it, just make sure you have the torque setting turned way down. Just gonna tighten those snug. You don't wanna over tighten them just until it starts becoming difficult. I can see I've ever so slightly compressed that washer, so that's gonna be plenty snug. Just gonna do all 4 of these. All right, got that fourth one nice and snug. So now our handles firmly secured to that top shelf, and we're ready to move on to the next step. I'm gonna set this off to the side here. So we're gonna put that on towards the end. Now I'm gonna find my bottom shelf. So the bottom tray is easiest to identify because it has threaded inserts for the casters. So this is our middle tray. This doesn't have those threads. Set that one behind us. That'll go on next. Now we've got the bottom tray here. So you can see those threaded inserts. That means this is the bottom tray. Those are going to accept your casters. Now's where the fun starts. Didn't tell you it's a hidden feature. You get to take out some of your pent-up aggression while assembling your ultimate detail cart. You get to smack these legs on with your mallet. And do keep in mind, these legs are a very snug fit onto the leg posts, so it is going to take some force to hammer these all the way on. You want to pay attention to these two indents here. Those you line up with the two little tabs on the post there. So you'll see that. Line those up. They should fit on the top edge of the post, and then you're going to take your mallet, hammer it on. You'll get a little bit of flashing coming off as those compress on. It's a little plastic shaving. I just pull those off as I go. If you have a little X-Acto knife or even just a pocket knife, that'll make it easy to get those out from in between the shelf edge and the post there. I'm just going to clean those up when we're all finished. So I'll go ahead and smack all four of these legs on. Done. As I go, you can see I'm moving the mallet kind of in a triangle. I have 3 points of contact there so that the leg goes down evenly and it's not binding at all. Just pull that flashing off and move on to the next corner. Get this one. You can hear and feel when it's fully seated. It goes from more of a hollow sound to a nice solid sound, and you can feel that it's not going down anymore. It's nice and solid. And the last one for this bottom shelf. Couple extra hits there. All right, and those are fully on. So now we're gonna take our middle shelf, mount that to the bottom shelf. So this part, you want to make sure that you line all four legs up, insert the post of the shelf into the leg underneath it. Make sure everything's perfectly lined up here before you start hammering on it. I'm gonna pull these off so they're not rattling around. Now, these are anodized aluminum legs, so be sure that you keep these somewhere where they're not going to get scratched during assembly. And now we're just going to hammer on the posts on the middle shelf. Again, this is why you want a soft face mallet, not a metal hammer or metal mallet, because you will bang these up if you have a metal piece. Little slight dents from a mallet aren't going to hurt anything. Those will be covered up once it's completely assembled here. Pull off these. And again, a little X-Acto or a sharp pocket knife will allow you to shave off any extra little pieces of that flashing that might be bugging you. And I like to do this one side at a time. So I've got that corner in. Now we're going to do this corner. Again, checking that everything's fitting correctly. It's going together nice and easy. You can see, a bit of force from the hammer is required, but nothing crazy. All right. Pull those shavings off and keep on moving. You can also do this when you're all done. Pull them all off at once. It's an easy way to do it then too. Okay, so we've got our 2 bottom shelves. Now we're gonna hammer the legs for the mid shelf on, repeating the exact process. Just verify fitment before you start hammering so nothing gets secured crooked. All right. Keep moving around. One tip, if you don't have a rubber mallet or a soft face mallet handy, you can use like a small piece of 4x4 or 2x4, excuse me, and a hammer. Just use the wood block in between the leg or the shelf and your hammer. That's another solution if you don't have a good mallet available. Just whatever you do, do not use a metal faced hammer by itself. And of course, make sure that they're all getting fully seated before you move on. If one leg isn't all the way down and you try to put a shelf on top, it can bind things up and prevent it from being perfectly level. All right. Now we're a little over halfway there. So now that we have our 2 bottom shelves and mid legs on, we can go ahead and put the top shelf on. Step number 4. So again, of course, make sure that you didn't forget to screw those handles in, because once you do this, you're not going to be able, it's going to be very difficult to get the top shelf out if you forgot one of those handle screws. So you want to make sure those are all in at this point. And then check to make sure the posts the shelf posts are into the legs here so that everything's fitting correctly again. Just give those a little smack by hand, make sure they're seated fully. And then we're going to come in with our mallet, and I'm going to hammer just the top of the handle posts here. All right. We're going to go around this twice. You'll notice the top shelf is going to be a slightly tighter fit, just to ensure that when you lift up on the handles, that top shelf isn't coming loose at all. So we'll go around that one twice. That one's seated. Good and seated. There we go. So the top shelf will definitely take the most force from the hammer. Just be sure that you're hitting the base of those handles and you won't have any problems there. All right. So I give this one another good smack. You can also use that section of the rim of the shelf. Just make sure you're nice and close to the corner so that you don't dent those rims at all. Oh, one little gap there. All right. Now, you can either turn it upside down or lay it on its back. And now we will do the casters. Be careful if you turn it upside down, you don't want to drop it on those handles. Oops. Lose our washers. All right. So now we'll do this on the top. It comes with the included wrench. I just use that to torque these down. You don't need it to start them. Just slide the lock washer on the post of the caster. Drop the post into the threads and turn it clockwise to tighten. And then once we're done with all four, I'll come in with the wrench at that point and just torque them all down. Make sure those lock washers are compressed. So nice ball bearing casters, scuff resistant surface, and they're nice and big 4-inch casters, so they roll over extension cords and pebbles in your driveway, things like that, nice and easily. Make sure you don't forget the lock washers on the caster. That can lead to the casters coming loose. Oftentimes if they come loose, the post can bend depending on how much weight you have on the cart. So getting those lock washers in there is important. Don't overlook that step. Last one here. All right. Got those hand tight. So now we'll take our caster wrench and just slide this in. Turn it nice and snug. Can't really over tighten these ones, but you shouldn't need it any more than hand tight. Those lock washers will keep them nice and snug. All right. Turn it back over. Oh, I did forget to mention, you do want to make sure that you have your locking casters on opposite axles so that the cart, when you have both casters locked, it won't be wiggling around on you. If you only have them on one end, it's likely that the other end will be able to move back and forth a little bit. So for the most secure stability, position your casters on opposite axles there, as shown in the instructions. So now we've got the base cart completely built. So if you just want the Ultimate Detail cart by itself, not with the detailing tray insert or the bins, this is how it's going to look. Now we will go ahead and add the detailing tray. This is one of the best parts of the Ultimate Detailing cart. Keeps all of your detailing supplies organized. We've got that guy there. Gonna grab the hardware bag for that. Spin it around so you can see the orbital holders. So on this side, you've got these two recesses for hanging orbitals. On this back side, I put the tray on the wrong way. So you wanna make sure, you can see on this side, the top shelf has a little cutout there. That allows you to see the car logo there, which this is a stainless piece, so it also doubles as a magnetized piece. You can put your swirl finder flashlight or any other magnetic accessories on there. But the way that I had it before, you can see if you put it on that way, your car logo is going to be partially hidden. So make sure that you have your tray on so that you can see the full car logo, like so. There is a little bit of wiggle room that you can see there, just to make it easy to fit this piece. So I'm going to center it on the edges. It's perfect there. You can run this just set on the top, but it won't be completely secured. So it does include 4 screws, which we are going to use now to secure it to the top. These rubber devices that you find in there, these are for the orbital holsters. These allow the holster to hold our G8 or GR3 or any other small platform orbital. Leave it open like so for your G9, G15, G21. Or if you want to use, say you have one cart for your larger tools and a separate cart for your small tools, it includes 2 of these inserts so that you can hold 2 small tools on the same cart easily there. We'll go ahead and pop that one off. Keep that to the side. Make sure that one's in all the way. So now we've got 4 Allen head screws. These are a 6mm Allen head. Go ahead and grab our screwdriver. Got our trusty bit holder in the back here. Pull out our 6, swap it for the Phillips. These combi drives are awesome for little projects like this. And now we're ready to go. A ratcheting screwdriver will be helpful. These are self-tapping screws to go through the plastic top tray. You can drill a pilot hole. No bigger than probably about 1/8 of an inch is necessary for a pilot, but you don't have to. These self-tappers do a nice job, especially if you have a ratcheting screwdriver. They'll make it a little quicker. I like to just give them a little smack, get it started into that top shelf, and then we're just going to screw all 4 of these in. So you can feel them starting to grab right about there. Screw them down. All right, that one's in. So 8 screws in total when you're done with the cart. Ratcheting screwdriver like the combi drive definitely makes it easier. Again, we don't recommend using a drill. If you do choose to, just make sure you have the torque turned way down so you don't strip anything. And again, no pilot holes here. You can see this is pretty easy. Takes some good downward pressure to get them started, but once you get them in there, they thread in snug nice and easily. Lock our casters here. All right. So you can see the casters are a really nice foot lock. You can get it locked out there or off there. Very easy to manipulate. And now you've got your bins. These bins, whoops, I left my bit. Don't want that in there. So these bins fit nicely on the lips, on the sides of the cart, like so. So you've got one bin. The small bin's great for pads, larger bin for dirty microfibers, or you can make whatever use out of the bins you would like. There's a great accessory to have so you can keep your shelves nice and clean and free of dirty towels and stuff that you don't want taking up the valuable space on the shelves of the cart. So that is our fully assembled ultimate detailing cart with tray insert and bins. For more information on this awesome detailing cart, be sure to visit griotsgarage.com. And as always, have fun in your garage.